Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to grade 8 English Telikilaas. I hope all of you are doing fine at your home. Okay, so today we are going to learn direct and indirect speech. First, I will share the learning intentions and success criteria for today's lesson. So, today's learning intentions are: by the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify the difference of pronoun in direct and indirect speech, convert tense correctly from direct to indirect speech. So, you will be successful if you can use pronouns correctly in direct and indirect speech, or if you can convert direct speech to indirect speech by using correct tense. Okay, first I will see what is direct speech. So, let us see what is direct speech. Direct speech, in other words known as quoted speech, but it is commonly known as direct speech. So, it is saying exactly what the person has said. We use quotation marks in direct speech. Okay, let us see if the verb tense changes in direct speech. Well, the verb tenses do not change since we just copy what the person had said. For example, here, I am 10 years old. We use exactly the same phrase in direct speech as here. She said, comma, I am 10 years old. You can also bring the quoted phrase at first like, I am 10 years old, she said. Okay, now moving to indirect speech. Indirect speech is commonly known as reported speech, and what the person said doesn't need to be word for word. You can bring slight changes, but remember the meaning should be same. Unlike direct speech, here we don't have to use quotation marks and verb tenses change. That's the main difference in indirect speech. So, now we are going to learn what are the differences in indirect speech when we convert from direct speech. Okay. First, let's see an example here. I am hungry. Okay. She said that she was hungry. I am sure you must find a little bit difference in these two sentences. So, now let us see exactly what are the differences in reported speech. Okay, first thing is change of pronouns. The pronoun changes when we convert from direct speech to indirect speech. For example, in first one it says, John said, I am coming. Pronoun I is used here, but when we convert to indirect speech, it's John said that he was coming. The pronoun I has changed to he because John is a male. If it's for example Aisha, how will the pronoun change? Yes, very good. The pronoun will change as Aisha said that she was coming because Aisha is a female. So, that's one difference when we convert into reported or indirect speech. Next is change of tense. So, whenever it comes to tense, it follows up certain rules. For example, here it says present simple tense into past simple tense. When we convert direct speech to reported speech, if the phrase is in present simple tense, it changes into past simple tense. For example, here it says she always wears a coat. Okay, so the main verb here is wears. So, when we convert it to reported speech, the main verb has changed. He said that she always wore a coat. So, the verb wears has changed to wore. Remember that here is an optional word. If you want, you can also say he said she always wore a coat. Next is, if it's in present continuous tense, it changes to past continuous tense. For example, here, I am looking for my keys has changed to she said that she was looking for her keys. Here you can see am has changed to was. In continuous tense, the main verb remains same while auxiliary verb changes. Am has changed to was, but looking is same. Next is present perfect tense into past perfect tense. If the direct speech is in present perfect tense, it changes to past perfect tense. For example, here, she has written 3 letters for her friend. Here also the auxiliary verb changed while the main verb remains same. He said that she had written 3 letters for her friend. Has changed to had. The next is past simple tense into past perfect tense. Previously we discussed if the direct speech is in simple present, it changes to past simple. But here, if the direct speech is in past simple tense, in reported speech it changes to past perfect tense. For example, here, my friend gave me a bar of chocolate. When we change it to reported speech, the main verb gave changes the tense. As you can see, he said that his friend had given him a bar of chocolate. Okay, the next rule, past continuous tense into past perfect continuous tense. So, if the phrase in direct speech is in past continuous tense, we convert it into past perfect continuous tense in reported speech. For example, here, we were living in London. In reported speech, instead of were, we are using had been to represent past perfect tense. In this also, the main verb remains same because it's continuous tense. We were living in London. Were living is converted into had been living in London. Okay, next, past perfect tense. Remember, if the phrase is in direct speech is in past perfect tense, the tense remains unchanged. You don't have to convert it into another tense in reported speech. It's just the same. The bread had gone stale. So, the only difference you have to bring is you just change it to the format of reported speech. She said that the bread had gone stale. As you can see, the main verb is same because the tense doesn't change. So, what happens if it's in past perfect tense? Yes, the tense remains unchanged. Okay. Next is future simple tense such as will changes into would. For example, here in direct speech, I will finish my report in 2 days changes to he said that he would finish his report in 2 days. Not much difference, just convert will into would. And then as you can see, there is the difference in pronoun. Pronoun I has changed to pronoun he. Okay, next is future progressive tense such as will be changes into would be. As we have discussed before, will changes to would. Very good. Direct speech, for example here, I will be making tea is changed in reported speech as he said that He would be making tea. The will has changed to would. Okay, so in future perfect tense, will have changes to would have, as we discussed before. Will changes to would. For example, here in direct speech, I will have called a doctor, but when we change it into reported speech, it changes as he said that he would have called a doctor. Will changes to would. Okay, next future perfect tense, another example, will have been into would have been. For example, here all the money will have been spent is changed to he said that all the money would have been spent. The will here changes to would, no other difference when it comes to future tense. Okay, so now moving to the third one, change of situations. For example, in direct speech, it's I did this exercise last night. So, certain things change in indirect speech. For example, John said that he had done that exercise the previous night. As you can see here, this becomes that in indirect or reported speech, and last night becomes the previous night in indirect speech. Let's think of some other examples for this. Okay, as we have mentioned, in direct speech this changes to that, in indirect or reported speech here changes to there, now changes to then, today changes to that day, yesterday changes to the day before, or you can also use the previous day. Tomorrow becomes the next day in indirect speech, while last week becomes the week before or the previous week. Now, you can think of some examples on your own as well. Okay, so what are the things we have discussed when we change from direct speech to indirect speech? First is, yes, the change of pronouns. Next is change of tense, and the third one is change of situations. Now we are going to check how much we have understood the lesson. Okay, let's revise. He works in a bank. So first you need to decide in which tense the sentence is. He works in a bank. So here works is the main verb. So tell me now which tense is this? Okay, very good. Simple present tense. So what happens if the phrase is in simple present tense? Yes, it changes to simple past tense in reported speech. She said that he worked in a bank. Here there is no difference in pronoun. We went out last night. So, in which tense is this sentence? Yes, we went out last night is simple past tense. Okay, let's see how when changes. The tense changes from simple past to past perfect tense. She told me that they went has changed to had gone out. Last night changes to the night before, or you can also say the previous night. Okay, next, I am coming. So, which tense is this? Yes, it's in present continuous tense. So, what changes in present continuous tense? The auxiliary verb. Yes, she said that she was coming here I has changed to she, and auxiliary verb am has changed to was, and come in is same. Present continuous tense changes to past continuous tense. So next, I had never been there before. So which tense is this? Yes, if it's in past perfect tense, will there be any difference when we convert it into reported speech? No, no difference in tense. Here is a difference in pronoun. Tense remains unchanged, it's same. She said that I has changed to she had never been there before. As you can see, the tense remains same. Okay, the last one, Lucy will come later. Which tense is this? Yes, you are right. Very good. Simple future tense. So, when we convert it to reported speech, will changes to would. She said that Lucy would come later. As you can see, will has changed to would. These are some of the changes when we convert from direct speech to indirect speech. So, let's see some other changes in our next class. Thank you for watching. See you all in next class.